Oh, I may have timed that one. I may have timed that one just a little off. I'm trying to master it. I'm trying to master the timing so that the song ends right when I'm coming on, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. We are live again. It is a wonderful Friday to do a live Q&A. So super excited that you all are here with me live this morning. Well, this afternoon. It is 12:03 Eastern time in the United States, which is where I am. We are live streaming all over the place. All over the place. We're on Facebook. We're in a Facebook group today. That's a hot topic right now, isn't it? Yep. That's probably going to change soon. And we're on LinkedIn. So those of you watching on LinkedIn, make sure you say hello. We're on YouTube, and then we're also over on X. And you know, something I'm seeing lately, I'm seeing a major uptick. In fact, let me look now. Yeah, we've got some people watching on X. We're starting to see a major increase in live viewers on the X platform. But one thing I'm definitely noticing is that viewers on X are quiet. So I would say that the most chatter, most comments come from YouTube. And then, of course, the least amount of comments come from LinkedIn and X. Now, it seems like we have more viewers show up on X these days than in the past. So again, I don't know if the algorithm's changing, if there's something changing over there where, you know, these live broadcasts are starting to just, you know, show up in people's feeds a little bit more, or maybe the whole live broadcasting on X is becoming more popular and the users are becoming more accustomed to it as well. So, you know, I definitely think that it's something that to pay attention to, right? But again, like I said, those of you watching over on X, you tend to kind of lurk into the streams, because a good friend of mine the other night, he had 100 and some people watching from X, but there were like no comments coming from X, like at all. So it was really interesting. I thought, I wonder what it is about that. So anyways, what's going on, everybody? Wanted to say hello, check in on the comments. We're doing a live Q&A today. And what a live Q&A means is that you pretty much drive the show. So I'm going to need you to start putting some questions into the comments. Anything. It can be anything around tech. It can be around Streamyard. We can definitely talk about, I see a question. Put a Q in front of those comments for me. It makes it easier for me to see your question. But Renegade's Garage, I got your question. I've started. We will talk about this new kind of information that's kind of, I guess, it's been out, but it's more official, I think, now, a little bit more in our faces, that Facebook is going to basically turn off their Facebook groups API, which essentially means absolutely no third-party applications will be able to connect and operate inside of the Facebook group. So this has an effect with if you're using StreamYard to stream into your Facebook groups now, you will need a plan B. You will need to do it differently. You can still do it. You just need to do it differently starting April 22nd. So we can talk about that a little bit. If you've got questions about that, let me know. Dizpod, glad you brought up Facebook groups. Yeah, it's kind of it's an interesting thing today. So, but I just want to say hi to some friends in the chat before we get going while we gather some questions. It's Kashini's here. Hello. It's good to see you live, hanging out in the comments with us. We got Betty is here watching as well over on Facebook, which is always good to see. I like seeing the variety of people. Let's see. And here we go. Life with Demaria Beauty says, yay, I just joined StreamYard yesterday. Well, fantastic. Welcome to the wonderful platform in our community. It's wonderful to have you here. Speaking of community, I do want everyone real quick to know that we do have a Facebook community, Facebook group of our own. So it's a great place to get questions answered. It's a great place for you to share your wins. I think we need to see more people sharing the awesome things that they're doing with StreamYard and just your business and whatever. So, if you're using it for podcasting, if you're using it for live videos, recording videos, creating shorts and reels, you can do all those things with StreamYard. So we love to see the examples of what you're doing and how it's helping you and serving you in whatever way that you want it to. But also, again, great place to ask questions. You can ask your questions today. If I can't answer your question, or if you want just more variety of an answer, that's the place to go. Our Facebook group is a fantastic group. So just search Facebook community over on Facebook and it will show up for you. Answer the questions and they will let you in. So that's what I wanted to say really quick. All right, I see some questions coming in. Fantastic. All right, let me use our starred comments feature. I am putting them into my queue so that I can get to your questions, which is fantastic. So I was getting a little nervous. You guys weren't going to ask me any questions today. My goodness, right? Let's see. Okay. Good questions. Yolando says, I am loving StreamYard. Well, that's awesome. We love to hear that. All right, here we go. I'm just going through real fast, grabbing these. Wow. Okay, I better get to it because you guys are coming in hot with some questions now. See, you got to be careful what you ask for sometimes. Okay, let's see. I'm just getting caught up on these questions. Okay, cool. All right. So, cool. Dream Talking with Vicky says, yes, I'm creating a new course with StreamYard. That's fantastic. That's awesome. Okay, cool. Make sure you share about that over in the group. Okay, interesting comment, Scott, from you. I will address it really quick. So since I did just talk about it, and I do see questions about this situation, so I'll address it. But Scott says, I hope that Streamyard and Meta eventually come to a deal because StreamYard is a huge tool for the deaf community. Yeah, so I know that I know that our folks over when I say our folks, the folks at StreamYard, I know that they did reach out. I don't know the details of communications at all. I really don't, but I do know that this is absolutely out of StreamYard's control. And it's out of everyone's control. And it doesn't just affect StreamYard. It affects all kinds of third-party applications. If you're using a scheduling tool to post into a Facebook group, it affects that as well. So this is not just exclusive to StreamYard. This affects any third party that is connected to a Facebook group. And this is a Meta decision. They have decided they're basically shutting the doors on the API. Therefore, third-party applications will no longer be able to interact or post on your behalf or do things on your behalf in those Facebook groups. So again, I will share a few ideas and a few ways that you can still do live videos inside of your Facebook groups and even still use StreamYard inside of your Facebook groups. But this is always a good reminder that any application can change the rules anytime. Meta owns Facebook. StreamYard does not own Facebook. We sure wish they wouldn't have done this, but I can tell you that, any application can make a change any day that can affect you. And so this is why it's important this is why I like to have, this is why I love multi-streaming. So this is just another idea, another thought around if you're on the free plan, it's something to consider. Multi-streaming allows you to stream to multiple places at the same time, just like I am today. So I'm not just exclusive into one location. So if something breaks or something goes down, then I still can be out there, right? And that is one of the benefits of multi-streaming is that, let's say, I don't think it's going to happen, but let's say YouTube just all of a sudden decides we're not going to do live video anymore on our platform. Well, you still could be live on all these other platforms. And if you're multi-streaming, then your audience is you already are there. You're warmed up over there versus starting cold. So again, this is why I love the idea of multi-streaming, because it does give you options. Or if Facebook goes down for the day and you've got a really important piece of content you need to get out that day, if you're multi-streaming, you're still getting it out there. You're just not getting it out there on that broken platform for the day. So something to think about, something to consider. Mona says, what did I miss? I missed it. What did they change? So Facebook has decided that as of, I think it's April 22nd. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but basically third-party apps won't be able to connect to Facebook groups. And this does affect StreamYard, whereas you won't be able to just, connect your StreamYard or your Facebook destination, click on it and go live. You will have, if you want to use StreamYard to go live inside of that Facebook group, you will need to use a stream key, get a stream key from the Facebook group, and then use the custom RTMP function of StreamYard to then stream into the group. That's, as of right now, that will work. Facebook could, of course, take that whole stream key availability away any day. The other option you have, of course, is to go live on a Facebook page, for example, and share that into your Facebook group. That doesn't solve your exclusivity because you'll still be public on your Facebook page, but there are certainly ways. And then, of course, you can always use the really annoying and terrible UI Facebook Go Live producer. It is horrible. I actually went and looked at it this morning. I was like, well, maybe they've updated it. No, it's still terrible. Sorry, Facebook, but your UI of your live producer is so awful. I hate it. It's terrible. But anyway, so you definitely still have options, everybody. So don't freak out, but you are going to need to possibly make an alternative plan if you are currently using StreamYard to stream into Facebook groups. So it's something that's there. Again, we can't change it. StreamYard has no influence. They cannot make this change. I'm sure that Facebook hears them and listens to what StreamYard cares about, but they've made this decision and it affects everybody. It affects all third-party applications. So it really is a bummer. I agree, traveling on adventures, it's just kind of it's a bummer. That's a great way to put it, to be honest with you. So, okay. All right. So let's see. Chris says, would you please do an RTMPT training to teach us? There are videos on YouTube. So go to StreamYard's YouTube channel if you're not already over there. She's watching on X. There are definitely tutorials on how to do this over on YouTube. So, and I am sure that there may even be a more specific one to address this very specific issue coming on the platform soon. So yes, definitely will happen. Okay, let me get into the questions because you guys have lots of questions for me. If there are questions about that whole Facebook group thing, I may acknowledge your question, but we did talk about it. So I may say, check out the replay because I don't want to just keep answering that same question over and over again. So let me grab the next. I saw some more questions get posted. So I want to grab those. Thank you. Okay. Wendy says, yes, April 22nd. Okay, perfect. Thank you for confirming. Sometimes I'm good at remembering details, but a lot of times I'm not. Let's just be clear. All right. So I think I'm caught up on starring questions. Lots of them. So we're going to do this. Okay. Let's see. Renegade's Garage posted in the beginning of the stream. What is better, streaming for an hour or 2 hours? Okay. So the ideal duration for your live video absolutely depends on two major things. How much content do you have to deliver? Meaning how much value can you bring? If you only have 5 minutes of value, then your stream's probably going to be shorter, right? But if you have a lot of value to bring, your stream's probably going to be longer. The other thing is the engagement, the level of engagement from your live audience. So if your live audience is there and you just got done with your 5 or 6 minutes of content, but they're still asking questions, they're engaging with you, and the conversation can keep going, well, then the live video can and should be longer. Now, if you've got your 5 or 6 minutes of content, that's just an example, by the way. I'm not saying that you should only have 5 or 6 minutes. If you've got those 6 minutes of content and you've kind of gotten to your point and you've shared what you have to share and there's no engagement, not a lot of live comments happening, you don't need to drag the stream on just for the sake of, wow, this is a really short live video. Don't drag it on because are you really going to be offering value? Now, granted, a lot of people are going to catch your replay. But again, if you're not offering value, then they're going to drop off right after the value is done. And that's not going to help your analytics when it comes to, the algorithms and the way the analytics review and analyze your videos. Think of it as like, you're not going to get a good score, right? Because if a bunch of people are dropping off and there's all this content that still happened after, Well, why did they drop off? Well, then the algorithms are going to assume this video wasn't very good and they may not show it to very many people. So again, two major factors when it comes to the ideal duration of your streams is the amount of content that you have to share that is valuable. And then of course, the amount of engagement that you're getting. So there's kind of this balance, this blend. Now, if you have a schedule, like for example, I'm going to go live today till about 1 o'clock Eastern time. If you're one of those where you have a schedule and you need to end at a certain time, well, then you're going to need to watch the time and make sure that you can get all your content through, acknowledge your audience, and then of course end your stream on a timely manner. A lot of people have very regimented streams. In fact, when Dan and Gage do the town hall on Sunday nights, it's a 30-minute stream, and it's almost always 30 minutes. They do a really good job of keeping it to 30 minutes, and I'm sure there's a number of reasons. Now, could they talk longer? Yeah, heck yeah, because there's all kinds of people commenting on those streams. But that's always been a 30-minute stream, and that's just what they do, and the audience has come to expect it. So you know that you're going to show up and you're going to get punchy, quick value, and then it's going to be done. So it kind of, you can certainly design your streams to be a very specific timeline. I like to leave a little bit of flexibility when I can to, hey, I got all kinds of people commenting. I want to keep the conversation going. So, I'll do that. Now, these streams that I do here on these Fridays tend to be about an hour, but there have been times I've gone longer. Was it the last one I did? Yeah. The last time I was live, we were live for over 2 hours. It was like a little over 2 hours because we were having a blast and I had time. I was able to. So we made that work. So that's kind of a long-winded answer to your question, but that is a great question. I know a lot of people tend to ask that question and wonder that very thing. Okay, so Glowstick Animations says, how do I make my StreamYard logo disappear? So if you are on the free plan, then this is what you are going to see in the corner. And that is always going to be there. Now, if you're on an essentials plan, it looks very similar but different, and that's always there. So the free plan, that is there. It's a watermark, basically, and that is one of the aspects of a free plan. If you want that to go away, either just be gone or put your own custom logo up, just maybe a different variation. This is just a different variation, or your own brand, you're going to need to upgrade to at least our basic plan. So either the basic or the professional, but the basic plan will allow you to customize the branding of your stream. It'll also allow you to add overlays and other things that create a more custom experience for your audience. So that's how you would take care of that. Okay, so I am not going to be able to answer this question. So Addicted to Art and Crime says, addicted to art and crime. I see some streamers playing streaming games with their audience and panels. How do they do that? So I can't really answer this because I don't have enough of the specific of what you're describing, but I think what you're mentioning is possibly a co-stream. So if they're playing with their audience, then what they're doing is they're probably playing a game that's a community-oriented game. Like, I'm going to use this example because my daughter plays it, Roblox. So if you say, I'm going into Roblox, and you say where you are, and you could literally tell them to go join the same game, and then you could be playing, and your viewers could be playing the game at the same time with you. So that would be one way. Just requires coordination. And then there's other ways, too, where you could potentially have a guest on your stream, and you could be playing together. But they're just in their own house playing the game, and they're displaying their screen, or you're displaying your screen, either way. So there's definitely different ways. Lots of gamers do lots of cool things with streaming, but there's so many ways to do it. They also might be using another application connected to a streaming service. So for example, I am today. So I'm actually using, so I like to do this little fun thing. And I am using OBS virtual camera. So I'm actually using OBS so I can do a little bit more snazzy custom stuff. And I just am using that virtual camera. And then that application is basically the webcam inside of StreamYard. So I'm streaming with StreamYard, displaying comments with StreamYard, multi-streaming with StreamYard. It's significantly reducing the bandwidth on my computer because of that. But I am controlling the webcam by the OBS platform. So a lot of gamers do that as well. So there's probably a number of ways. But the best thing I can tell you is there's so many great videos out there for gamers and streamers over on Twitch and YouTube. You can learn all kinds of cool tricks. So definitely give that a try. All right, the Harry Experience says, how do I do a vertical live stream on YouTube? Well, you can use our portrait studio. In fact, our very own Dana Bentz did a video recently on YouTube. So if you go to the YouTube channel, for StreamYard. And if you look at recent videos, you will absolutely see a tutorial video about doing this. Well, maybe not to YouTube. It was maybe more to Instagram now that I think about it. But YouTube, you can now do a vertical live stream to YouTube. YouTube just unlocked this recently. And so if you use the Portrait Studio, so just go into your settings, change your stream to portrait mode and go live to YouTube, and it's going to be a portrait live stream. Kenya Kelly, I talked about her on the last show. If you go to Kenya Kelly's YouTube page, she's absolutely doing vertical streams using StreamYard as well, and she's doing a great job. So you can check that out as an example. All right. There it is. Okay, very fun, very related. Ironically, it was the next one in my queue. So Lawrence Wilson with the DizPod said, we have talked about vertical live streams. We tested doing both at the same time. Now picked up 21 subs from the vertical live. Not really a question, LOL, but hey, that's great. That's great feedback, and that worked out really well because I literally just answered a question about vertical. Okay, so Poodle Professor says, my channel is about outdoors, hiking, and camping, but a big creator / helper said I should change my channel name to reflect that. I'm a professor who has poodles. Okay, so I would agree merely because Poodle Professor says nothing to me about what your content is about. Now, I'm not going to go to your channel, but I will tell you, Daniel Batal and Dee Nimmin, this is exactly what they do on their show. So if you tune in, I think it's the second Saturday of the month. Tune into their show. I think it's 11 a.m. I need to write that down because every time I forget this. Those two do a deep dive and they do channel reviews. And honestly, go watch some of the replays of some of their channel reviews because you will see all kinds of really great strategies. And they do talk about this quite a bit. You know, does your cover photo, does your name reflect what the content is about on your channel? Is your content consistent, or are you a little all over the place? So they do a really nice job of explaining the way to do these things. Do the thumbnails really help me understand what that video is going to be about? And things like your name of your channel absolutely comes up quite a bit, but just quick blush at what you're asking, what you're saying, and how you're describing it, I would say it's probably not a bad idea to consider a name change because, of course, Poodle Professor was probably a cute name you came up with just when you were getting started or even just as a viewer. And you might be your username over on Instagram and other places. But if your channel is truly about hiking and outdoors, you might want to consider a different name that's a little bit more related to that. Okay. Brian says, can a person that has a free account be a host from a webinar from a person with a professional account? Yes, you can. So you would want to use StreamYard Teams. The StreamYard Teams feature allows you to add a user to your account, and they can basically be a backstage producer, or they can be a host. They can be a co-host. In fact, you would give them co-host rights. I have not delved into this, but I am certain that this also works with on-air, applies to on-air. So yes, as long as they are a user and you've added them as a user to using your StreamYard Teams feature, then you would be able to have them be a co-host or a host for your webinar. Okay, so I'm going to grab a couple more questions and then I'm going to check in on the live comments because yeah, I got a lot of comments I haven't even looked at yet. So, okay, so real quick, we did talk about this, but DizPod said, I read the issue with Facebook groups with the API, but will it start to work with RTMP? So you can use RTMP as of right now to stream into a Facebook group. Again, Facebook could always change that, but as of right now, they are still providing a stream. You go to Facebook Live in your Facebook group. When you say create live, it's going to give you a stream key. That is the stream key that you would use in StreamYard to then use custom RTMP to stream to that Facebook group. So again, there are videos out there about tutorials about how to do all this that takes a deeper dive on that. So Yolando says, I'm pretty new to StreamYard and wanted to know, can we use StreamYard from the phone? Yes, you absolutely can. In fact, it's a really great thing. You don't need anything special. All you need is just go to StreamYard.com on your phone. You'll log in the same way. You'll get a login code, log in, and then you have almost every single feature right there in your hands. And again, we've got some videos about that. In fact, I did a video about it a year ago maybe, on using your phone to go live with StreamYard. So you can display comments, you can display banners, you can display overlays, you can do all those cool things. You cannot share your screen. That is one limitation that I'm aware of for that. So, but yes, it's very easy to use on your phone. And so it's great for mobile streams or streams on the go, for sure. Amy, I think you've probably caught up to this by now. You said, is it true that Facebook is ending third-party apps from doing live streaming in groups? Yes, it is. As of April 22nd, you will no longer be able to just simply use your app. You'll have to use custom RTMP or another method. Glowstick Animation says, why is my mic glitching when I make streams? It could be a number of issues, a few things to troubleshoot. One would be your cable. Make sure it's connected tightly and securely. Maybe even try a different cable. Sometimes that can be the problem when if it's a mic glitching. Other times, if you're just using a mic and you're not using any special software or extra software, it's probably the cable or the mic. But if you're using other software like, Wavelink or Rode, whatever the Rode app is called, or even going through an audio interface, it could be something with one of those applications. It could be your usage, your CPU usage as well. So I know I was having an issue a while back, and it was absolutely, I didn't have enough RAM. And so I actually purchased new RAM sticks. I felt super techie. I felt so fancy and so intelligent. I literally felt like I could go build a rocket ship. But I unscrewed the panel on my computer, I removed the RAM sticks, and I installed the new RAM sticks, and I screwed the panel back on my computer, and all of a sudden I had double the RAM, and I literally felt like I could walk away and go build rocket ships. I felt that great about it. It's so easy. So it could be that, but there's a number of things it could be. So you just have to kind of start troubleshooting, unfortunately. But hopefully it's not your mic. I hope you don't have to get a new mic. All right, let me do a quick check-in on the comments because I need to grab more questions because you guys are firing them up today. Loving this fantastically. So let me go back in time on these comments here and grab the other questions that I see coming in. And you guys are coming in with so many questions. I'm not really able to check your live comments as much as I normally would like to. So thanks for being here and understanding that. Oh, Poodle Professor, this was about one I talked about earlier. She said, I follow or is it a she or a he? A she, I think it's a she. I follow a channel that does 2 to 3 hour lives, and it's so boring. I just can't. Lots of silence and dragging. See, yeah. Sometimes there are some live videos that are kind of like hangouts, and they're not as engaging. They may be playing music, or just a lot of gamers will just be playing games. And they're really just meant to be like hang out with somebody. And so maybe it's one of those. But yeah, again, if you're not offering value, I would not recommend those long streams for sure. All right. I am grabbing questions, trying to go back so I can answer these in order of the posting. That's what I always like to do for sure. I try to keep it in order. 90 minutes is the sweet spot for a live stream. I really do like 90 minutes as well. I find it very difficult to get all of my stuff done in an hour. I mean, I always feel rushed. I mean, it's already 12:30 and I've only answered probably half the questions. It depends on your audience though. I mean, when you do an open Q&A like this, it is very difficult to get to everything as well as comments and engage with the audience and keep it in an hour. So I like a 90-minute stream. I like 2-hour streams. Personally, I really do like 2-hour streams. Okay, reading some comments. Good stuff. Sorry for the downtime. I'm looking for the cues. Trying to get my queue built back up. Try to use a queue in front of your questions for me because I am scrolling quickly. And that way I see your question. And that's the fastest way for me I'm using the starred comments feature. So inside StreamYard, when you have the comments come into your studio, there's a little star. When you hover over the comment, there's a little star that shows up. And when you click it, it'll create a little starred comments queue. It is one of my favorite additions to the tool to StreamYard. Sorry. When they added it, it was like, oh my gosh, probably one of my most favorite features that they released, honestly, because it has made Q&As like this so much more manageable, 100%. So Dimebag Coins is here. What's up, friend? Good to see you live in the comments. Always love to see people who I haven't seen live in the comments for a while jump back in. Okay, I'm getting there. I promise I'm getting there. Okay, cool. I am caught up. Okay, perfect. Chris says she didn't know about the star feature. What? Where have you been, Chris? See, you just got to use the tool, click around and play around with stuff, and then you'll see stuff. Yeah. So Mona, same thing. You guys, there it is. It's in there. It's a fantastic feature. I love it. Okay, I'm going to get to these questions. I got some more questions queued up. All right, so Elvis AZ. I love StreamYard. Have done a few lives. My question is, when I am live and play audio or video, does it broadcast in stereo? I analyze songs. It will, but you have to make sure you have stereo selected. Let me show you really quick. I'll do a quick screen share. You just want to make sure that you have the proper settings selected for that. So when you go to, let me share my screen. Sometimes I'll start talking about it and I forget to share my screen. So we're going to share the screen. Okay. So in StreamYard, when you go into your broadcast, and you say enter studio, you're going to see your webcam. And then you're also going to see settings. So if you go to settings, it's going to then, this is where you would select your portrait mode, by the way, those of you that aren't interested in making portrait videos. But then when you go to audio, you want to make sure that stereo is selected. Something else I will tell everybody, if you are streaming music and you are pushing music of your own, not uploaded into StreamYard Studio, and you are, for example, if you're using an audio interface and you are doing that, which I'm assuming Elvis AZ you are, make sure you have echo cancellation deselected. This was something that I learned by accident, really. It's really important because I had this on and I would stream music and it would, all of a sudden the music would just be like, it was like muffling it. And it was because of the echo cancellation. The AI wasn't really able to realize I want this noise in the stream. So make sure you have echo cancellation deselected and you want to make sure you select stereo. And then same thing, if you are using an audio interface, you probably don't want automatically adjust mic volume selected either, because you want to be able to control that. And when you turn these tools on, like audio, oh, this is new. Reduce mic background noise, which is different. Oh, I'm sorry. This is what I meant. Reduce mic background noise. Make sure that is deselected. I actually would deselect echo cancellation as well. It just, again, these are AI things. And then deselect automatically adjust mic volume. I wasn't sharing my screen. And I'm sure y'all told me that in the comments, but I'm not looking at comments because I'm looking at the starred comments. See, come on. Okay, so let me back up real fast. I apologize. When you enter the stream, okay, let's go back. If you go into the studio, enter studio, it's going to pull up your webcam and you're going to click on settings. When that shows up, settings, go down to audio, okay? And here's what I'm talking about. Gosh, I'm so sorry, everybody. Echo cancellation, make sure that's off. Reduce mic background noise, make sure that's off. Turn on stereo and make sure automatically adjust mic volume is off. This applies to people that are using audio interfaces and pushing external audio like music, background music, sound effects, even maybe playing videos in your streams. These are great AI tools, but when you're using that kind of stuff, it will possibly diminish the quality and affect it. So just make sure all that stuff. That's how you would make sure it's stereo. That turned into a really long-winded answer to a very easy question. And I apologize because I had to answer it twice. So sorry about that. Let's see. Lisa J. Stocks says, sometimes I cannot see my chat and StreamYard. Is there something that, I think she means in StreamYard. Is there something that I could be doing incorrectly? So if you're not seeing the chat, there are a few reasons that this could be happening. One, if you're doing a custom RTMP stream, so those of you that are now thinking about using this to stream into your Facebook groups, that does not bring data back into the studio. So you won't see comments coming back into the studio, meaning you won't see them in StreamYard's window. You would have to have your group open over here on a mobile app or in another window to read the comments. So if you're using custom RTMP, comments will not come into the studio. If you are streaming to some of the other custom places, I think even Instagram doesn't bring the comments in, does it? I can't remember. I've only tested that twice. So it could be that. It could, and then I think with YouTube you have to make sure you have live comments set on YouTube. So I'm sure you do because you know they're commenting and you're not seeing them. Now, a long time ago, there were sometimes issues with Facebook groups not sending comments into the studio. And I do think that has recently resurfaced because I have seen some people when they're live in their Facebook group, they are actually saying, I'm not seeing your comments. So I have seen that a lot. So if it's a Facebook thing, it could be a Facebook, like a break of the linkage in Facebook. So sometimes it's on the other side. Now, StreamYard is very quick to jump on any kind of glitches or anything that's going on. And usually if there's an issue that they know about, they'll actually put a nice header when you log into StreamYard to let you know that there's a problem and that they're working on it or working on a solution. So those are the quick things I thought about. Not sure if that's specific to what you're dealing with. If it's not, then absolutely reach out to StreamYard's support team so that they can help you troubleshoot. Okay, so the community, I like that. I record my shows with StreamYard, but sometimes the audio is broken or glitchy. Is there any way to monitor the sound? I've been sad I couldn't keep a live because replay would be able to hear. So, question for you: are you using are you also exporting? Are you using the isolated recordings, meaning so that it's recording to your hard drive? Because it could be your internet was possibly glitchy, or it could even be that if you're streaming it out, it could be that the actual platform you're streaming out to is having problems that day. But if you're just recording to the studio, but if you're not recording to your desktop, then it could be internet, but it also could be some of the issues I talked about earlier. It could be a resource issue on your computer. I know I have had audio issues in the past, and it ended up being I did not have enough RAM in my computer because I have a lot of things plugged into my computer, and I have a lot of software running, and so I simply just needed more RAM. And that was once I did that, I have not had any problems since. So again, I would, if the problem keeps continuing to happen, reach out to StreamYard's support team. They're really great about troubleshooting stuff. When will Facebook allow StreamYard to go back to link-based instead of us having to create events? I have no idea. I don't work for Facebook. So probably never. This has been years that they did this, and they haven't shown any interest in changing that. It's very annoying for a lot of people, but I have no idea. David says, I've noticed that on my live streams using StreamYard Giveaway that the same person wins often. Any reasons this may be? No, it's very random. Just better luck. Maybe they are just on your lives more. Maybe they have a higher frequency of being there live and actually participating in the giveaway. If you have a really big audience and you got a lot of people participating, I think that does sound weird. But if not, that's not the case. It could just be luck that this person, because we have some frequent winners. We've had people win more than once, but they are literally on all the lives. They're on lives all the time. So they just have a higher, they have a higher odds of better odds of winning. So maybe that's the case. But the tool itself is random. It absolutely is random. Let's see. How do I change my podcast clips from side by side to vertical so I can share them better on social media? So the call sheet, you would do this one of two ways. I'm assuming you're doing interviews when you say side by side. So if that's the case, you can use a custom layout, you can use the portrait mode layout when you record it. And that is actually going to allow you to it's going to export a vertical video. And in that layout, your interview and you and your interviewee are basically vertical with each other. If you're looking for still to stream something in landscape mode, but you want to be able to repurpose that video later and maybe cut it and have it be that way, cropped in so that it's vertical, then you would want to create a custom layout that basically, which is free to everybody. And you would put you at the top and maybe them at the bottom, and then just do some graphics out to the side to kind of make it look nice for the people watching the landscape mode. But then when you want to share it to, Instagram or YouTube Shorts or wherever, then you could crop that in and you would just have that vertical version. So the other way you would do it is use the isolated video feature and download both of your video feeds separately, and then do a post-production edit with another, and then you would be able to do whatever you want with that piece of content. Dr. Geneva Speaks wants to know about my camera. What camera or webcam are you using? It always looks great. So I am currently using the Sony ZV-E10. It does have an extra lens on it, the Sigma 1.4 16 millimeter. I can never remember it. It's a really popular lens. It creates that blurry background, especially when I get really close to the camera. But no, it's Sony ZV-E10 is the camera I'm using. It is if you use that, you will need a capture card of some sort in order to use the high quality. The Sony ZV-E10 will also plug into your computer with a USB cable. You just would turn on the live streaming feature on your camera, and that would work. All kinds of cameras out there, though. Tons of great webcams as well. This is not a cheap one, so if it's not what I would call a budget camera at all. So. Dr. or Mr. Yarndall, does anyone know how long the giveaway tool stays active? We tend to get to talking and had it just shut off after a timeout before we spun the wheel, but cannot find the time limit. I didn't know there was a time limit. I am not sure. That's a great question to post in our Facebook group, and somebody can probably find that out for you and answer that question. Okay, so Louisville says, hey, Melanie, I wanted to know what setting do I need to change to stop allowing a member of my panel from entering the stream automatically versus me clicking their name and letting them in. Oh, I'm getting Teams messages. Hold on. Let me turn this off. Okay. Okay, so if it's just somebody from your panel that's a guest in your stream, you have to click them. You have to click on them before they enter the studio. Now, if you're the stream, like up in the studio, but if they are a co-host, then they can absolutely enter themselves. I am checking settings right now, though. Yeah, to be honest with you, Louisville, I don't think they automatically get added. You have to click on them to bring them into the stream, unless they are either using a team seat and they have that ability, or you're co-hosting with somebody. So I'm not sure what's going on with that, to be honest with you. Chosen Generation Ministry says, can I use multiple phones as a camera for different angles, and how? Yes, you would just need to, you can definitely use a mobile phone as an extra camera to, provide a different angle. You need two things. One, you need to be able to connect your phone to your computer, and you do have to use a third-party app in order for it to be recognized as a webcam. Okay. We have videos on the YouTube channel all about that. And then the other thing is that you would need to be on one of our plans that allows you to share an extra camera. So when in your screen share settings, one of the options would be extra camera. And when you click on that, it is going to allow you to add whatever other camera you have connected to your computer. In fact, last week, my last live show 2 weeks ago that I did, I actually demoed that and I showed that exact same scenario, except I showed it kind of like as it was on a guest, right? So I showed him as a guest. So you can absolutely use that extra camera feature inside StreamYard. It's super easy to use and very, very user-friendly. There's another way around it. There's a hack where you would just open StreamYard in another browser, connect another webcam to it, and then you actually would have 2 webcams down in the studio, but you're gonna run into some audio issues with that. So the best way to do it is just use the extra camera feature. Dimebag Coin says, Logitech has added a high-end camera. Have you seen it? Interchangeable lenses. I have not. What? That sounds crazy. I have not seen Logitech's camera at all. So I know nothing about it. Interchangeable lenses. I just did a quick Google for Logitech camera and it's not popping up real fast. So maybe it's coming out. I'm not sure. But no, I haven't seen that yet. So that sounds interesting. Very interesting, actually. I just saw this as I popped into the live chat. Pevidex says, win 4K. I hope soon. I hope really soon. I think it's being worked on, to be honest with you, because I've heard some rumblings about it. But I don't know when. I hope soon, but I don't know when. So, all right, let me see if I can answer some more questions before I got to jump off here. I do see more questions. Amy Johnson says, is it true that using Streamyard in an incognito window can help with video issues? I'm hardwired with good upload speed, but the video can get really glitchy. I don't know that would make any difference. The only benefit that I could see, Amy, would be if you're talking about like Chrome and you're opening Chrome up in a separate, an incognito window, it doesn't pull your plugins, like your Chrome plugins over. And sometimes those Chrome plugins can actually cause problems. So that could be the case. I've actually never tried that. But yes, you would just have to log in every time if you use an incognito window. But the only major difference I can feel that would benefit it would give you is that those plugins won't be running in the background, which should help Chrome run better, right? So, or you could also just try a different browser. So I have actually seen a lot of people saying they're going away from using Chrome for streaming because of the fact that they use Chrome and they have all these extensions and plugins and things, and Chrome can be hefty on your computer. And so some people are using other browsers like Mozilla or whatever just for streaming. And that's the only thing they use it for. So that could also potentially be a solve as well. So, but yes, it's a possibility. Certainly worth a try. Mona said, I had an issue like that. I changed to low latency and it fixed my issue. Mine were in sync. I think that's the same thing. So I'm not sure. When I had echo cancellation turned on, my mic was decreasing. How do you fix that? So again, I think echo cancellation is probably not even, it's probably not really a really important feature. It's really important when you have a guest on a stream. Yeah, it is when it's turned on. Yeah. So I'm just reading what it says. So this is what echo cancellation says inside the studio. It says, do not turn this off unless you have a high quality microphone and are wearing headphones or don't have any guests. Now, I'm not wearing headphones, but I'm also not introducing any other audio into the stream right now. This setting enables audio processing features like echo cancellation, noise suppression, and auto gain control. So that is what's happening. So if you have it on, it is going to do that. Now the automatically adjust volume setting is also going to do that. So you would want to make sure they're off, to be honest with you. And if you are going to have a guest, wear headphones and turn that off. That's what I would do. I am looking at your comments. I'm actually just scrolling and randomly finding questions that I didn't answer. So I'm out of order at this point because we're getting close. So I'm just going to grab questions I see. My Yarn Loft by Tansy says, what is the pink light behind you? Oh, this one, those are lava lamps. And they're not real lava lamps. They're just like these glass fake lava lamps with glitter and stuff. And then the bulb heats it and makes it move. That's basically how they work. But those are just, yeah, they're my lava lamps. I finally changed the scene. I mean, those of you that have been watching for a while, I just flipped my desk around and now I've got the wall behind me, this wall behind me, and it just lets me reflect light on the wall way better. I had the room rearranged before and I just hated it. And so I finally, it is not ideal for this room, I will tell you, the setup, because it's a very repurposed room. But it's better. It's 10 times better than it was. So I'm happy about it. I saw another question that I was going to get to. I saw a cool one. Here's one. Should smaller/newer channels do lives? I do them, but I don't get many participants. But people do sometimes watch the replay. Any advice for doing a live with LTD people viewing? Little people, few people? Okay, so here, yes, I think you should do lives, especially if you are getting replay views. Those replay views count. Your live views don't count towards your views, but your replay views do count. So there's a lot of value in doing those. And here's the deal. So this is what I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. So I do believe that small channels should be creating live videos. However, I believe small channels should be creating VODs or just pre-recorded videos. So these are just your 3 to 6 to 10, however long they need to be, videos that are either your vlogs or your tutorials or whatever your content, your channel is about. And then also do YouTube shorts. So YouTube shorts and these videos on demand are how you're going to grow your channel. Truly, those are the growth strategies. Your live streams is the community strategy, meaning you building a relationship with your audience. So those videos on demand are when somebody comes into your channel, and if it's just a whole bunch of lives and only a few small, just a few of the pre-recorded videos, people are more likely to watch the pre-recorded videos than they are the live replays. And that's going to give them substance and a reason to check you out and look at you and decide, I want to subscribe. And if they subscribe, they're going to get notified when you schedule your upcoming lives. So as you do this and you build, you're training your audience, even your new audience, meaning your small quantity audience, because you're new. You're training them that you go live, but also you deliver content regularly, that like the videos on demand, but then also the shorts. The shorts are a great way for you to attract new people into your world. Now, if you're just doing shorts and you don't have any other content, they are probably going to subscribe based on your shorts. And so make sure your shorts are still focused on what you're doing. I have seen some channels where they're creating these like really goofy, TikTok style shorts. And then you look at their content on their channel and it is absolutely has nothing to do with what their shorts are about. And it's going to be a problem for their channel. It's not their people. If you want true audience members that are there to engage and eventually buy or do whatever, you're going to have to make sure all of that kind of goes together. But I do think that live videos are great. Your live videos might just be a little shorter because, as I mentioned earlier in the show, you may not have the same active engagement when you're live that you do when you have a larger audience, right? So your live videos may just be a little bit shorter until that audience grows and gets used to you doing that. But I do think that small channels should absolutely do lives, but it cannot be the only thing you're doing if you want to grow. You can grow, it'll just take you longer. I'm looking for a couple more questions I'm going to go down to some recent questions. So I'm going to scroll down and see what I can do here. Let's see. Logitech Core. Okay. All right, I'll check it out. Dimebag coins. I'll check it out. That was the camera he asked me if I'd seen about, and I hadn't seen it yet. Okay, so Renegade's Garage says 1080 or better for the free version. 1080 or better for the free version. No, so the free version is 720. Actually, I think right now the basic version is still 720. If you want to use the 1080 signal, output 1080 with Streamyard, you have to upgrade to the professional. Once 4K comes into the picture, I have no idea if that will change. I would assume it would change, honestly, where that they would probably all go to 1080, and then you probably would only have 4K on the professional, but I have no clue. I really don't have any clue. All right. I'm seeing if I can. Dimebag, you're out of order. I'm out of order. The whole world is out of order. Isn't that the truth? Good Lord. Conspiracy Music says, I love Streamyard. I usually stream with OBS, Streamyard, multiple platforms. Yeah, me too. Let's see. So Stay in My Lane says, can you do live news feed on StreamYard? So I'm not sure what you mean by live news feed. So if you're talking about sharing some other content that's live and sharing it, I mean, you would share your screen and it's there. That would be like that. If that's what you're asking, you need to be very careful about doing that because of the user rights and all those things and duplicate content issues. So you have to be really, really careful. There are people that do that all the time. Emily Baker, she does a lot of her lives she is literally watching live court hearings and she is streaming them and talking about what's going on. Super entertaining. She's fantastic. Super awesome. She uses StreamYard to do that. She just shares her screen. But if you're talking about creating your own version of a live newsfeed, there's the way you would do it. So like this ticker going across the bottom, what you would want to do is you would potentially, it would be very difficult for you if you're a single host and you don't have anyone assisting you as a background producer. It'd be very difficult for you to do this because you'd have to be like the best multitasker in the world. It could be done. I'm not saying it's not possible. But one thing you could do, an idea would be to use a mixture of overlays, banners, and tickers. So this little live ticker at the bottom here, right? It's not live. It's just a ticker that goes on loop. But I'll show you. So maybe some of you are like, what is she talking about tickers? I should do demo. Okay. So over in your banners tab, you are going to have some options for tickers or banners and tickers. A ticker, so when you create a new banner, right? So this is a banner / ticker, and you just click on this bottom thing where it says scroll across the bottom. It's then going to be a ticker and it's going to scroll. But what you could do if you wanted to do I'm going to just act like these are not what they are. And we're just going to do like, you would create tickers and you can, as you can see, you can literally create tickers as you go. So like breaking, this is just an example. And this can be long. As you can see, these can be long, right? But you could have this be where you start. Here's your current news. And then there's a new update. Well, then make a new ticker and then click it and change it. And then, or take it off and then bring it back, bring the next one back up. So like you could do tickers and just be updating the tickers. And right now, StreamYard doesn't have like a continuous a ticker. Like they're not that long, right? Now, the other thing you can do is you could just keep editing the same ticker over and over and then keep doing that. So if that's what you mean, that would be the way that you would do it. It was an interesting question. I've never had that question asked before. Not in that way. I'm actually going to jump to the new comments to see if that was what she was asking. I don't know. Why would anyone need OBS? We did talk about OBS and a few people are commenting about OBS. Really, you wouldn't. I mean, StreamYard does so much. But if you use OBS, then you can absolutely do additional customizations. Like additional customizations. I will say this though. OBS is complicated. You have to learn it. There's absolutely a learning curve to knowing what you're doing. 2, it is a heavy application on your computer. So if you have a light computer, you probably don't want to add OBS to it. So there's certainly tons of reasons not to use it. But if you wanted to be creative and do some creative things, like I mentioned earlier, like this, that's just a scene that I have set up in OBS. And you can't I'm just using my Stream Deck. I'm pushing the button and making like these little transition scenes. You can't do that in StreamYard right now. So if you want to be able to do that, then you would use OBS, right? So we got a lot of comments coming in about OBS. So hopefully you're still watching and you can get some more feedback from the other viewers. OBS is a headache. Yes, it absolutely can be. I use OBS very lightly, very, very, very lightly. So not like a big thing. So a lot of fun opinions about OBS coming in the comments right now. It's funny. All right, let me get to a few more questions and then I'm gonna sign off for the day. Oh, I didn't put my necklace on today. I just realized that. Let me grab a couple more questions. Okay, sorry. I'm reading comments. I'm looking for some fun. Oh, live views don't count. So, last I knew, people watching your live video while they're live, they don't count towards your views. It's the replays. I think this is total crap, but I think the reason for this is partly, I think watch time counts. I believe the watch time counts. Or maybe I'm getting it backwards. Maybe it's the hours count, but the views don't. Or maybe it's the views count, but the hours don't when you're live. Now I'm going to have to look that up because that's pretty important. We're looking this up. Okay. It's watch hours. I believe watch hours count. So the watching during the live and after, those are counted. But I believe the views, they have to watch for 30 seconds. Here's another thing. YouTube watch hours do count. Somebody's probably answering this question for me. Where's Nick Nimmin when you need him in the comments, right? It is not recorded. We are live, James. But you can watch the replay over on YouTube. Pop over to YouTube and you can watch the replay over there. Can you watch X replays? Maybe you can watch it on X too. I'm not sure. Great. I went down a rabbit hole now and it's like too hard to find the answer. I know I've seen this before. I get it messed up. Also, it changes. It's changed. It used to be that something didn't count. Like it was either live views or hours, but maybe the hours have changed. I don't know. I can't find an easy answer, guys. Sorry. Okay. Let me find one more question and then we'll head out. So you guys are saying 1 minute. Somebody said 3 minutes. I saw 30 seconds. All this can probably be found in some really big, long YouTube terms and conditions deal. Here we go. So Square Table Degenerates, I usually trust him. Hours don't count if you delist the stream. Other than that, they count. Yeah, they has to stay public. Absolutely. 100% has to stay public. You are correct. Yes, conspiracy music. Kind of reiterating something I said earlier. Dimebag coins, I can't fix your dark mode desires. I'm sorry. It's been asked 1,000 times. You're like the 2024th person to say, we want dark mode. Conspiracy music says, use a combination of short form, long form, and live streaming content, in my opinion. 100%. That is the best strategy to grow on YouTube. 100%. Okay, here we go. So Blazer Hawk Darren says, I believe that the live views count, but only after the live stream is processed by YouTube. I think that's true. I do think that's true. They don't count right away, but I do think they do come back. So yeah, there you go. I'll tell you who's a good person to ask questions like that. Nick Nimmin. He is like the YouTube. He knows everything about YouTube. He is like part of a YouTube exclusive group. I mean, YouTube literally, he's like kind of like a consultant in a way. So kind of like me. So like Daniel Batal, myself, Andrew Can, Nick, D, StreamYard will sometimes unlock features for us to have us play around with them to give feedback. So Nick is like one of those people for YouTube. He's kind of like in the inside group over there too. So he knows everything about YouTube, more than most people, to be honest with you. All right, so we are going to. I'm just reading your guys' comments. This is correct. 100% has to be, it definitely has to be public. So if your live stream, because I have seen this too, where some people think they've tried it, where they're like, well, I can just create a private stream and just leave it on and just like have it be nothing. And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't work. So it has to be a public stream. It absolutely has to be public for anything to count for it, for sure. Okay, so conspiracy music. This is a cool feature idea. I actually love it. Multiple media windows would be awesome. That's why I use OBS. So I I know it's been suggested. I don't know if Dan and Gage are working on it. I don't know if it's in the product roadmap, but 100%, I'm with you. I love the way that StreamYard Studio is set up, but I would love to have the opportunity or option because not everybody is going to want this or need it, which I know. And Dan is really, really, really big on keeping the tool simple. The ease of use is one of their core pillars, and I support this 100%. But I will say that sometimes, like, I wish I could have comments up, but then also my brand tab up or my banners tab. I wish I could have two tabs open at the same time. I wish comments could just always be up, and then I wish the brand and banners tabs could be like on the other side, and then you could kind of have both open, because that is one thing I struggle with is I'll be over here trying to control the visual of the stream, but then I don't get to see the comments at the same time. So I definitely agree with that. I think it's definitely something that I know they've talked about. I just don't know if it's something they're going to change or do. I kind of hope so. I might have to send a note about that one, bring that one back to the surface. So yeah. So see, a few of you are, ooh, okay, they're working on it now. Let's hope so, right? Good to see you, Pete. Good to see you here hanging out. Yeah, so Amy, everybody's like, yeah, it's a pain. If you're not using all those features and all those functions, then it's not something that's really important to you, but it might actually enable you to do more of some of that stuff, right? So it might actually be one of those things that you decide, I'm going to be more interactive and more, visual and snazzy because I can now, because it's easier to do because of the separate tabs. That would be fantastic, but we'll see what they do. All right, my friends, I am going to sign off for this one today. If I didn't get to your question, I am so sorry. I can't go 2 hours today like I did last time, but I definitely want you to take that question, go post it over in our Facebook community if you are a part of that community, or post it in a comment on this live video after we're done. Just at me on here, at Melanie Diane, and I will do my best to come back and answer your questions. So again, if I didn't get to your question, throw it in a comment when we're done with this live, or go over to our Facebook community and post that question over there. That'd be fantastic. But again, feel free to always post comments on these lives after we're done with them, because I'll come back and try to answer any questions I didn't get to, or any new questions that maybe you thought of that you just are dying to get an answer to. But we'll be live again here in a couple of weeks, right here, same time, same place, Friday at noon. I also I have a special guest coming in April 12th. So mark your calendar for that one. That's going to be a really fun show. Going to be fantastic, actually. So definitely make sure you mark your calendar. 12 o'clock Friday, April 12th. I'm going to have a special guest. So don't miss that one at all. You'll know more about that coming up here shortly. I'll let you know about it for sure. So, all right, everybody. Well, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you all have a great rest of your day and weekend, and stay safe. And as I always say, happy streaming.